WGN News.
One of the keys to staying vital and useful at 100 years old is staying busy. Some are even working. Studies show it helps your mental and physical well-being. Tom Gimbel is joining us to talk about the benefits of extending your work life. Hello, sir. How are you?
Always good to see you.
Most people, I shouldn't say most people, some people, they're like, oh, I can't wait till I'm 65. I'm going to retire. I'm done. But not everybody. People feel vital working.
Well, you were saying earlier how you feel that way about Ray. and I just think that was uncalled for. But I think, in all seriousness, there's something about going to work. We talk about this a lot in different facets. But feeling the sense of accomplishment that you're part of a team. And believe me, we're not talking about people who are 70, 80, 90 years old, maybe 100 years old in the article, working remotely. They're going to a store. They're a host or a hostess at a restaurant. They're working as a receptionist at an office. And you know what happens when old people who are upbeat are working at a place?
What does it do?
Everybody's happy.
Well, you made reference to a Washington Post article in which a 100-year-old woman works at Home Depot. She absolutely loves it, wakes up at the crack of dawn, jumps to her feet to do it, and keeps her moving, keeps her vital. But a lot of people wouldn't say that they think that's a good idea. Remember the movie Intern with Robert De Niro?
Absolutely.
He was older, but he taught people things too.
Absolutely. There's sometimes it's just the perspective of being able to say, when I was your age. Now you don't realize that it's somebody 100 telling somebody who was 60 that, right? But the aspect of being able to have relatability. I saw something that my daughter sent me on a video the other day off of Instagram or TikTok, and it was about a girl, and she was probably 28 to 30 years old, saying what's really awesome about being in the office is there's a person in there who's 55 years old who's telling her about what his kids are doing. She's telling him about her dates, and they're both enjoying it. And she goes, where would I ever have a relationship with somebody who's a 55-year-old guy in a platonic, normal, like, it's so unique, the workplace. And so why give that up just because your society has said retire at 65? Maybe you want to get away from your family. Maybe you don't have any family, but maybe most importantly, you just like a connection to something where you're helping other people.
So age diversity is a good thing. How is that helping the employer?
Oh, I think it creates a positive morale. I think when an employer knows that they can have something like a really older person working in the store, in this situation, a Home Depot, is that the people who are coming in, the other coworkers, they're excited to see that person. And if you're a little bit grumpy and you're 20, 30, 40 years old, and you see somebody who's 100, who's upbeat and excited to be there, it's hard to be a negative Nancy in that environment. And when customers come in, they want to come back again and again and again to see that person. So there's just kind of an aura about it, Mike, that makes people feel good.
It's not always about the money for these elderly people. It's about getting out there. Also, if they don't show up for work one day, you're like, maybe something's wrong with them. Let's go check in on them. So,
there's a whole, you know what? It's a community aspect, right? The store, the people, the customers, the coworkers, they care about this person. This person comes in and they bring a vitality and a life, even at 90 or 100 years old. And it just creates something so powerful. And we've just, over the past 4, 5, 6 years, we've forgotten about that.
That's true, especially with the pandemic.
Right? And when I read this story and I hear about people talk about old people in the workforce, I'm like, bring them on in. Let's get as many people of all different ages working together. Makes us a stronger organization.
And there's probably a place for everybody, isn't there?
Absolutely. But they've got to find the right one. You know, what can be bad, though, is if you have the old curmudgeon coming in and telling everybody, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong.
That's true.
So you got to find the right job for the right person.
They probably don't want to work, though, do they?
Sometimes everybody wants. You still want it. You don't realize you're a pain in the neck until you're a pain in the neck.
All right.
That's what you told me before break.
Yeah, well, that's true. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.